Hello again, welcome to the AM News. Now, a virologist with the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research, Dr. Michael Owusu, is asking government to institute measures to avert a third wave of COVID-19 infections. His call follows an increase in COVID-19 cases over the past few weeks. The advent of the Delta variant in the country has made Ghana's situation dire. Ghana has recorded 382 new cases, taking our active cases to 2,858. Dr. Michael Owusu believes it is time for government to step in again.
At this time that most people seem to have disregarded these COVID protocols, funerals ongoing, large gatherings ongoing, it's expected that government will begin to refer to the strategic document in managing and controlling pandemic like was done earlier. So you will expect government to begin to put in some level of restrictions, especially for numbers at large gatherings, whether funeral or parties or church gatherings or many activities, which is what is contributing actively to this. Initially, we had some restriction in numbers, but I mean, it's not working anymore. People just don't care anymore. So I think that we should expect some pronouncement from government and also for the police to come in to help us to be able to manage this. If this is not done quickly, it is likely that we may end to a point where reversing people who are becoming infected and people who become severely ill will be very difficult. And I think we need some level of direction at this point to guide the way people are managing themselves and people are behaving.
Member of Parliament for Clote-Kole, Dr. Zanata Rawlings, wants more attention to be paid to the country's kindergarten and basic schools. She says Ghana can only succeed as a nation if education is made the prime focus. Speaking at the 5th International Multidisciplinary Conference for Postgraduate Students at the University of Education, Winneba, Dr. Ajiman Rawlings called for a frank discussion on the remunerations of teachers in the country. Here's Richard Kujinyako's report.
Dr. Ezanato Rawlings at the Graduate Students Association's International Conference intimated the country could lose heavily if some attention was not given to the foundations of Ghana's education system. Not only that, she also believes the drivers behind Ghana's education system, teachers, should be remunerated very well so they could give up their best.
I'm hoping that more and more the emphasis on the level of experience and expertise that we have for those who are teaching the younger ones at the kindergarten level should become a very, very serious priority, because that is the foundation. When the foundation is weak, everything else that's built on it is not as strong as it ought to be. The discussion on the remuneration of teachers is one that is constantly talked about, but perhaps we're not dealing with it well enough. Unfortunately, it becomes a partisan issue at some point. It becomes a political issue, which it is in many ways. But fundamentally, it is about ensuring that those who are building the foundations of our nation know that we value them as a nation.
Dr. Rawlings also touched on the cultural element of the country's education system.
And stop thinking that becoming educated means leaving all our culture and traditions behind. There are very good things in our traditions, there are good things in our culture that we must hold on to and inculcate into our education. That is what makes us unique. That is why we can look at China and say China has achieved this, or India has achieved that, or Singapore has achieved this or that. The reason is they understand the value of a hybrid system between what they have as their cultural beliefs, as their tradition, and the education that is modern.
Education Minister Dr. Osei Educhum, whose speech was read on his behalf by Dr. Eric Nkansa, intimated the Ministry of Education was working on the entire system of education to make students assertive and creative.
The Ministry of Education is repositioning the entire educational system to produce a critical mass of assertive and empowered Ghanaian students, equipped with the essential skills for socio-economic transformation.
Vice-Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba, Reverend Professor Anthony Afu-Broni, explained the university had taken steps to run professional programs for untrained teachers in Ghana's education system to give them a professional touch. Thus, the university was training 200,000 untrained private school teachers to professional degree holders. He throws more light on this.
This is to support the Education Ministry in its efforts to deliver quality education for the empowerment of the masses.
The graduate student had a concern, and the concern was on the researches that are left on the bookshelves only to be cited as reference materials for another research. They want it to be used for something more valuable that would solve societal challenges. From Uniba for Joy News, Richard Kwejenyako.
Meanwhile, pupils in the commended Dinagua-Fabra municipality can now heave a sigh of relief. This is because tables and chairs have been procured for some schools that have been complaining for years. Some of the pupils have over the years sat on cement blocks and put their books on the floor to write, with teachers having to improvise to ensure academic work went on because the schools lacked furniture. Municipal Director for the municipality, Cecilia Boaje, says her outfit is extremely happy as the burden on pupils has been lifted. Another report filed by Richard Kwejenyako.
The issue of inadequate teaching and learning materials is not new in the country's schools. What is also fast becoming a grave challenge in some of the country's schools is that of furniture. Tables and chairs that school people sit on and write is a problem in some schools in the Commander Edna Egua-Fabra municipality. It is very common for 3 or 4 children to sit on chairs meant for 2 children because the ones that are there are inadequate. Thus has gravely hampered academic work as many of the children have to sit on blocks and put their books on the bare floor to write. Municipal Director of Education for KEEA, Cecilia Boaje, was happy that at least the municipality could reduce the burden on the schools with the arrival of the furniture.
We thank our MCE for this kind gesture because he is aware that furniture is a very big problem in our municipality. He has been visiting the schools himself, and there was a time he went to the schools and he ran to my office that, Madam, hey, you need furniture in your school, so right, I will follow you to wherever I will go to get you some furniture. And by the grace of God, today we see what we have here. Every good teaching and learning happens in a very good environment. And we know furniture was a problem in our various schools. If a child is learning and is sitting on a block and writing on the floor, we know that any good teaching and learning can not take place in that school. So now that we've got the desk, if you get 10, it can take 20 children. If you get 20, it can take 40 children.
Municipal Chief Executive for KEEA, Nana Apia Krang, says government would do more to fill such gaps in Ghana's education.
Now I've been going around and the problem is we lack furniture. You see, when you go to some of the schools, about 3 or 4 people are sharing only one desk. But fortunately enough for us, there are some funds. So you find it expedient enough to procure this furniture. That is why you've met here today, handing over the furniture to the Education Director, so that it will be handed over to the various schools. And I'm sure this is going to enhance teaching and learning. Therefore, I also urge you to maintain it very well, because maintenance culture is also a problem here.
The Education Director promised the furniture would be distributed to the schools that need them. Richard Kwejenyako, Joy News, Cape Coast.
And from the Central Region, we head to the Uti region. Regional statistician Henry Loglo says his office has recorded over 96% of work done in the 2021 population and housing census. This success, he says, is despite initial challenges with boundaries where residents in some communities wanted to be captured in particular areas. Also, the team faced another setback because fisher folks on the island thought enumerators were on the mission to rescue trafficked children, which led to some delays. Mr. Loglo has been interacting with our Oti regional correspondent, Peter Senu.
The Regional Statistics Office here in the Oti region is racing up against time to meet the July 18th deadline regarding the National Population and Housing Exercise currently ongoing. We have been interacting with the regional statistician in the person of...
Because as at yesterday, we can say that we've enumerated about 96.2% of our expectation of those we think we can enumerate. So at least by that, we are on course. So from yesterday up to the 18th, the small percentage that is left will be completed. Challenges has to do with border issues, or boundary issues. You get to places, let me just cite an example. When you come to Karachi East and then the Biakuya district, there's a village down there on the border which at least belongs to enumerators from Karachi East to enumerate them, but they should be enumerated by enumerators from Biakuya.
Let's come to some bread and butter matters. Question: is your bowl of kinky shrinking in recent times? Well, if it is, then it is because of the soaring price of maize. Figures from Esoko Food Commodity Prices Trackers show the price of a bag of yellow maize, which was sold for 213 cedis in January 2021, now sells for 317 cedis. Some kinky sellers JoyNews engaged lamented the increase in the price of maize grains and indicated that they were left with no option than to compensate for that increment by increasing the price of their produce, to the detriment of their business and the displeasure of customers.
It is come 2.5. I feel there if 3.5 no. Na echo 4.5. It is 4.5 and say me kokotwa. Kala me de bottom. Me daba. And when obe ya to car no.
A bag of maize used to sell at 250 cedis during the lockdown. It was increased to 350 cedis. We complained about it, and it's being sold at 450 cedis now. The cost of transport, the mill, and other expenses as well as labor made me increase the price of kinky from 1 cedi to 1 cedi 50 pesos and now 2 cedis.
This is 2 cedis.
Biane abele ejale wawa ewo hani ni hello huwe I'm a complainer because first ne can wobo 1 cedi ni keboko hie 1 cedi ba na eko shi bia ne ko hie 1 cedi onyo na eko ewo hani one way or the other affect fabric.
The price of maize is really expensive now, so I had to increase the kinky from 1 cedi to 1 cedi 50 pesos and 2 cedis. Our customers keep complaining, but we can't help it.
Expensive, it's too high.
Ekwafona say omo atutu nyemem nti omo so aiden atutu omo nyemem because first na bro rubber kokora na 10 cedis and 250 nti wo hwan wo sa akosoro pa 15 cedis kwa na abada so easy.
The farmers say things are expensive, so they have increased their produce, and we have no option than to do same. Fish is expensive, and all this affects us all.
And I'm crying because wo hwan nam 3 cedis wo ana wo su yeah because yet tifini ya itifi ebro no mu. Well,
from the sellers, some consumers of kinky in Accra also bemoan the impacts of this increment on their pockets.
They buy it, we turn 1 cedi and 1.5.
I used to buy kinky for 1 cedi and they increased it to 1 cedi 50 pesos. Now they are selling it at 2 cedis and the size has also reduced, so you don't even get satisfied after eating. You have to spend about 10 cedis for a decent kinky meal in order to get satisfied.
What I can say about the kinky issue is that for the past 3 to 4 years, the prices of the kinky was not as compared to this time, because at first we used to sell kinky 1 cedi, but now due to some inflation and other things, so kinky has increased to 2 cedis and now even 3 cedis, and even the sizes of the 2 cedis is just like the size of 1 cedi that we used to purchase years back. And we don't know where the cost or where it's coming from, but we are in Ghana, so we have to take it like that. And people are complaining that they are tolerant for anymore. Into them that Bibia or they are total.
Well, so now you know, if you haven't noticed the change, either double your money going forward or drink plenty of water after you've had your kinky. That's it for the news. Stay with me here on the AM show. The review comes up shortly. And are you down?
Oh, not at all. I mean, a new week, new energy.
It?
We're looking forward to doing great and amazing
But what
things.
happened with Kotoko their last game?
I mean, a lot of the time, I think maybe the sports guys will better explain it. The football it gets very mathematical in the last few games, especially when a trophy is lost. It becomes a battle for trading points for survival, among other things. You know, Sharks were one of the 13 teams for survival. Same with King Faisal that we had also played.
So what are you insinuating?
I'm not insinuating anything. I'm only saying that it's no surprise that if you pick the game that Hearts of Oak played with Liberty Professionals, the one that you won the trophy, you know Hearts was leading. Then when Kotoko, and funny enough, that game is supposed to start the same time as the Kotoko game. It delayed, it didn't start at the Kotoko game. Then when Kotoko's game ended, Liberty mysteriously equalized just at the end of the game. But unfortunately, Liberty did.
So that answers the Kotoko question that I asked. You know the question I asked?
Yes, I remember the question so well. And I told you that.
Then you started mathematically, and then you went to Hearts of Oak.
Yes, it's because you are refusing to listen to what I'm saying.
What happened with, what was the score?
I said Kotoko lost yesterday by 1-0.
To which team again?
Sharks. And I'm explaining that the last few games, it comes down to trading points for survival, among other things. The sports guys will, and it doesn't take much to look.
So wait, hang on.
It doesn't actually take much to.
So are you attributing the analysis that you've just done to the loss?
I'm saying that a lot of the last 2-3 matches that the various teams have played, they all turned out very, very interesting results that you see. I mean, because in clear terms, if you pick a team like Kotoko, who would be second anyways, and we are not going to be first. But a team needs the points to survive.
So where did you finish off Kumasi Asante Kotoko on the table?
We're second.
You're second?
Yeah, to Accra Hearts of Oak. I mean.
All right. It's a mighty team.
Congrats to
this win is sweet. It's the sweetest. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
You guys said we were fighting relegation, like for the first time.
In fact, the facts actually show that prior to Anas cancelling the I shouldn't say Anas cancelling. I mean the Anas documentary that led to the cancellation of that particular season.
Yeah.
That season has where relegation threatened.
It's true. Yeah. I said February, especially when the resignations came.
Even when Samuel Boedu took over the team, you are not too far from the bottom. And that is why I share in the story that you told about how you can turn things around.
Exactly.
Signings, a new coach coming in, and the rest they say is history. I mean, the hard story is one that we can all pick lessons from. I mean, my worry over the weekend was the fact that Al Ahly, they picked up their 10th trophy, the CAF Champions League. And I saw a post that one of our sports guys, I think Oreku, put out about the fact that when Kotoko had won 2 CAF Champions League trophies, Al Ahly had won just 1. And now it is 10-2.
Now who caused them?
And that is why I'm very excited about what Hearts of Oak has been able to do. But more importantly, the expectation is that they're able to keep the core of their team.
Don't put any pressure on Hearts of Oak.
No, it's not pressure. It's pressure on Ghana football.
You've been there. What were you able to achieve?
We're not able to do anything, but it's pressure on Ghana football. We are not doing well. We are not doing well.
Don't bring your pressure here.
No, it is pressure that Hearts of Oak must accept.
You are in a good place.
Hearts of Oak winning the Ghana Premier League, it's nothing.
Excuse us?
It is nothing for Kotoko to win the Ghana Premier League. The team needs to do well on the continental stage.
I beg, let's stick to the newspapers. Why?
I mean, you cannot accept mediocrity, but I'm sure everyone will agree with the point I'm making that we need to improve upon our performance.
Well,
on the
I
continent.
agree with you.
Exactly.
I mean,
and the only way to do that is to keep the core of the Hearts of Oak team and get some better players and do well in Africa, because this.
Okay, we don't need your empathy. We don't need your like what you are saying when it comes to our players. Leave it to us. Okay. When it was a rocky period, you guys were laughing and teasing.
In a couple of months,
you didn't think we would be here, so keep that to yourself. We'll manage our own situation.
In a couple of months, we'll come back to this conversation when Hearts is knocked out of the whole tournament. We can now do the newspapers. Or you want to still talk phobia? So
I just want to remind you,
what?
We're champions.
Yes, you are.
Phobia. Okay, let's do the newspapers.
Let me start with the Daily Graphic.
Over content.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do the papers anyways. The front page of the Daily Graphic says, President Speaker must deepen peace, Otumfuo urges. An AG petitions court to dissolve KillNet Limited, accuses company of fraud and illegality. And 9 MPs table motion for CSR law enactment, also on the front page of the Daily Graphic. The back page has some sports story. Wafa's Paul Hart's coronation party.
Oh, how?
But comes along with a beautiful league table that has Accra Folk on top, with Asante Kotoko placed second. Wafa is third, and the Aduana Stars at fourth. In terms of the teams that will no longer be participating in the Premier League, there is Ebusia Dwarfs, there is Liberty Professionals, and there is Inter Allies. I saw a Facebook post again that gives some interesting statistics about the last time Hearts won the league. 2 Accra-based clubs were relegated as well. And this time around, it's happening again. We have Liberty and Inter Allies being relegated. And so the person was saying that the Accra teams, they have to make sure that Hearts does not win the league.
I think it's the Liberty that is a shocker to me.
Yeah. They've done so well. I mean, it's a powerhouse. They've produced fantastic players, Asamoah Gyan, Michael Essien, Sule Muntari, Derek Boateng. So it's very unfortunate that they are going down, but I mean, they can always come back up depending on how
Absolutely.
well they feel about it.
Let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper on the front page. We will reap full benefit of ACTA if Ghanaians learn French language, according to the president. Okay. Do you speak French?
Un peu.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure we can do well with on pay with after.
Not at all.
It's got to be better than that.
We have to speak like how the president himself speaks.
Exactly. How do we get there, though, since we haven't taken French that serious?
I think our French teachers, I mean, everyone has a bad experience of his French teacher. I mean, our French teachers need to understand and be calm. They don't need to use the cane to force us to understand French. Everyone I've interacted with, they always have bad experience of their French teachers.
I agree. I'm not sure mine is same, though. I think sometimes we kind of also just simply refuse to enjoy the language. Maybe it's the style of teaching, so yeah.
Yeah, it comes back to that
come
same
back
point,
and I agree with you, yeah.
But even how we are geographically located, you know, just in the middle of French. I mean, it only makes sense that we have to. And if you speak French, in fact, if you speak any other language aside from English, Spanish, whatever it is, it's always a plus for you in terms of even job opportunities.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, hopefully our children are enjoying the language these days. Health alerts: government bans importation of poultry products following outbreak of bird flu in parts of the country. We put the spotlight on this particular subject matter on our show. 6 die, others injured in separate accidents in the Ashanti region. Tourism piracy activities in West Africa. Ghana faces threats from sub-region as attacks increase in Burkina Faso and Cote d'Ivoire. On page 3 on the accident, in the first that took place on Saturday this is a place on the Obuasi-Dunka Road. It resulted in the killing of 3 people with 17 others injured. The driver was said to have lost control of the steering wheel. And then as its failed brake and somersaulted as was heading from Kumasi to Samaboy. And then there was another incident, which was the second one. It took place on the Obuasi Road as well. This is Obuasi-Anyankwanta Road. Also claimed 3 lives with 10 injured on Friday. And then where is the third incident? That also occurred. Still reading from page 3 in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Let's see. Well, I guess I'll leave the rest for you to read on page 3. But this is absolutely disturbing to think that there's an accident, 3 people dying, and then 17 in another one, 10 people. So we're still recording greater numbers with the accident cases, and we've been talking greatly about it. So what is it really? What is it? What do we have to do again? I guess it's just individual responsibilities here, because most of these accidents are totally avoidable. Something could have been done if somebody was extra careful on the road. There's also another story. 2 persons who lured a 20-year-old Beninois to Ghana to be sold for $160,000 to a police decoy have been sentenced to a total jail term of 11 years by an Accra Circuit Court. Hey, this is a high-level crime.
Selling a human being.
Yeah. And they brought the person from outside Ghana and sold the person for $160,000. Like, is that where we've gotten to? Things are really happening. Also, the Enchi District Magistrate Court has convicted 2 persons for stealing motorbikes valued at 4,200 at this is a place in the Swine municipality. Details of that. There's an 18-year-old and a 19-year-old involved in this matter. And then the police on Tuesday foiled an armed robbery attack on a victim being trailed by 2 suspects on the motorbike on the Amasaman in Sawam Road in the Greater Accra region. I'm sure you probably heard the story somewhere. Good job by the police. Okay, on the back page of the Ghanaian Times, Hearts crown 2021 GPL champions. And then Accra Great Olympics defeated Dreams FC 2-1 at the Accra Sports Stadium on Saturday to sign off the 2021 Ghana Premier League in style. And then, of course, Joseph has already mentioned it. Liberty Professionals, the Busuma Dwarfs and the Inter-Allies, they've been relegated. They have to go back and fight to return
to the Premier League. You see right above them, you see Elmina Sharks right there, 41 points. Same point as Dwarfs. Then you also see.
So if they had lost to Kumasi at Sante Kotoko,
they would have gone down.
Wow. Hey, so how did Kim Faisal end up being 14 on the table?
Also at 41 points. Then you see Legon Cities also at 42. They actually won yesterday by 3-2.
They played against which team?
It's one of those.
They survived. Legon Cities with all
11 wonders. They played 11 wonders.
All the noise this season. Wow. Oh, and Mediama finished 5th. Remember that our coach originally was a Mediama coach, and they were what, 2nd at the time that he left the team.
Yes,
to
and in fact, you know, the season that was cancelled due to COVID-19, Mediama were actually on top of the league with him as coach. The one that had the announced documentary led to the cancellation too, they were also leading with him as coach then. And so, I mean, I guess those 2 events just delayed him winning a trophy.
Incredible. The heartbreaker for me is Karela United, because Karela was absolutely spectacular at the beginning of this race. They're 8 on the table. That's where they ended. Unfortunately, absolutely, yeah. All right, that's it for the Ghanaian Times.
Let's do the front page of the Daily Guide now. Government plans new development agenda. And bird flu strikes again, also on the front page. Attorney General moves to close down 3 Ponzi schemes. $5 million bribe against CJ Baloney. That is coming from Abdul Malik Kubako. And privileges war breaks out in Parliament, also on the front page. The back page, Liberty Dwarfs suffer demotion. UG Sports Director serves as technical advisor to Minister. I know this man from Legon. His name was always interesting. Dr. Bella Bello Bitugu.
Oh,
Dr.
I had a
Bella
mate.
Bello Bitugu.
I had a mate back in DHS and Dansuman, Bella Billy Bello.
Oh.
Yeah, this is somebody's proper name.
Yeah, this was Bella Bello Bitugu. He's the director of sports at the University of Ghana. We understand he's been appointed as a technical advisor for the Minister of Sports. Yeah, but a bit of the details in the papers here. So this story about bird flu is on page 6. The Veterinary Services Directorate of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has announced a bird flu outbreak in some parts of the country. So in a July 16 statement, the director indicated that the highly pathogenic avian influenza disease, otherwise known as bird flu, has been noticed in Greater Accra, Central and Volta regions. And so the outbreak has been observed in some neighboring countries since January 2021. So it goes on to indicate that in a response to the outbreak, the ministry has instituted measures for compliance, one of which is the immediate ban on the import of poultry products from countries suffering the outbreak, a ban on the movement of poultry and poultry products from affected regions and other districts in the country is also being carried out just to ensure that we are all kept safe. So that is some disturbing news for that sector of the agriculture industry there. But this other story about the AG moving to close down 3 Ponzi schemes is on page 3 of the Daily Guide. We are told that the Attorney General's office has filed documents in court to close down 3 Ponzi schemes. The companies have been posing as recruitment agencies mainly in the middle northern belts country and some parts of the Greater Accra, and collecting huge sums from the public under the guise of providing them jobs, especially in the gold and mining sector in particular. The companies, namely QNet Company Limited, based in Techiman in the Bono East region, QNet Investments Limited WA in the Upper West region, as well as QNet Limited based in Kumasi in the Ashanti region. So they appear to be intertwined, looking at their modus operandi. That's according to the story. And so if you are doing business with these 3 companies or intend to do business with these 3 companies, I mean, this would be good advice at this point in time, that the state holds the view that they are Ponzi schemes. And if you go and invest there and you lose your money, don't come crying foul and begging the state to.
How many people have lost even before this announcement, this discovery?
Thousands, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you've been warned. So if you haven't yet, then please don't. You're through?
The center spread, I gave my life to Jesus Christ 3 years ago, is coming from Wendy Shea. And Big Twins Cultural Troupe Tours Mexico is also there. And some other stories. SEC reintroduces compliance forum for stakeholders. 13 African heads call for economic recovery. Also another story in the center spread of the Daily Guide.
Let's do the Chronicle newspaper next. On the front page, judge dragged to legal counsel over dead body. One of those bizarre headlines that when you hear, you're wondering. So let's go to page 2, where we have a bit of it. Is a Kumasi-based High Court Judge, Justice George Krofa Adai. He's been hauled before the General Legal Counsel for alleged unprofessional conduct and bias. In a 2-page petition to the GLC cited by the Chronicle, the petitioner, Matthew Kuma, explained that he was a plaintiff in the matter seeking the return of the body of his deceased brother. He said that his brother's dead body was in the custody of Ebenezer Mortuary in Kumasi, deposited by the defendants in the case. And according to Kuma, he had sued the defendant for the return of the body so that the family could bury it. The petitioner indicated in his petition that the case was initially at High Court 5, presided over by Justice Francis Obri, but was subsequently transferred to the Human Rights Court, where Justice George Krofa Adai was sitting. Matthew told in the petition that on the 27th of November 2020, Justice George Krofa Adai set down the issues for trial. Among the issues was whether the plaintiffs were entitled to the body of the deceased. This, he continued, the court consequently gave further directions for the parties involved to file their witness statements. However, before the date given by the judge for the parties to appear was due on December 2, 2020, while the plaintiff and his lawyers were not present, the judge was alleged to have So he had handed the body, which was the subject matter of the trial, to be given. So he asked that the body to be given to the lawyer for the first defendants in the case on an ex parte application and without any trial or determination of the case. It's in
it's a very strange story. I mean, it's strange in the sense that if the court has given an order, should the process not be that is go to a higher court to seek to set that aside or appeal the order of the courts? I mean, why should it be the General Legal Counsel?
Well, they say it's a 2-page petition, so maybe there's more. Besides, it continues on. This is on page 2 and 3. No, okay. I think this is all the paper captured, really. But there will be more to what they are asking.
I find it's very strange that they would want to take it up
based
at the
on
legal
that.
counsel. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so that's it. But as I said the other day, there are so many other issues before the General Legal Counsel. It's only when somebody gives a hint to another person and it becomes, news, like it is in the paper today. If you visit their websites and you see the number of lawyers who have even been punished for various reasons. But back on the front page of the Chronicle, I've been told that usually such a headline will come with a quotation. So let's check out, still on the front page of the Chronicle newspaper. 1 Corinthians 11:31, it says, "But if we were more discerning with regard to ourselves, we would not come under such judgment." Hallelujah, somebody.
Amen.
I don't know what this means, but it is the word of God. Okay,
Thanks be to God.
KNUST students go gaga over high hostel fees. Welder 40 allegedly rapes woman 95. Oh, God. Government committed to fight terrorism and piracy is also another story. But this story about the 95-year-old woman who was raped by a welder, he's ended up in Sege Polyclinic, or that's the woman who is in the hospital in the Agda West District of the Greater Accra region, where she's undergoing intense treatment. Reports indicates that on Saturday, July 10, 2021, at about midday, the welder, whose name has been given, he's 40, he sneaked into the room where the woman was. She was sick, weak, and unable to talk, and laid on a simple student mattress, and that's where I mean, it doesn't make sense, does it? Absolutely doesn't make sense. But well, this is what is being investigated. So for now, I guess he remains a suspect, and they continue to investigate the matter. Hopefully, we can bring proper closure. But our prayers to this 95-year-old woman who's now having to deal with something extra, considering her age and the condition that she was already in. Students at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology last Friday staged a demonstration over the high cost of hostel fees. They've accused the university's authorities of conflicts of interest in determining prices of Ghana University staff, scheme hostel, and others on campus. Details of that in the paper. If you look at the back page of the paper, well, it's all sports, but big congratulations to the only Oak. Yeah, the clap from the Oak. That's all on the back page of the paper. All right, that's it for the Chronicle.
The last one for me will be that of the Daily Statesman. The front page says, government mobilizes efforts against terrorism, calls on citizen support, and 2022 to 2025 development policy framework to be ready soon. That is coming from Dr. Kojo Mensah Brampa, the Director General of the National Development Planning Commission. And President Commission's National Mosque Complex is on the front page there. I've seen photographs of the edifice. It's beautiful, and especially the aerial shots in the evening. It's very nice.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace, Patrick Vieira will do things his way as new Eagles head coach. It's on the back page of the Daily Statesman. And Tokyo Olympics, first COVID cases in Athletes Village, and Team GB have 8 self-isolating. Also on the back page of the Daily Statesman, Omavi.
All right, let's quickly look at the Business and Financial Times newspaper. On the front page, poor revenue mobilization will prolong recovery efforts, according to Fidelity Bank report. Tax policy design remains ineffective. Survey is indicating an industry subsidizing residential power must stop. AGI to government. Thousands of jobs at risk as after competition beckons, and PRC's impending major tariff review must correct ills. Only 12% of youth in agric use technology, according to a report. Plenty other business stories in the Business and Financial Times today. Okay, so let's do myjoyonline.com. If we may, is there a story that you wanted to highlight, Joseph?
We can do myjoyonline.com.
Okay, so we'll do myjoyonline.com. But whilst we get ready to bring the page, we have some birthday dedications. And significantly, it's your 60th birthday today, Mr. William Ollins Odro. It's your 60th birthday today, sir. I wanted to wish you a happy birthday today. He's the Vice President of the Ghana Bar Association. And also, I remember sharing this on the show. He was inducted as the Methodist Church inducted Mr. William Ollins Kweku Odro as the lay president of the church conference. You've got a big conference coming up, so I wish you the very best. It's his birthday. If you know him, please reach out and wish him a happy birthday. It will come with plenty of blessings because he's a special man. Happy birthday to Sergeant Albertina Sajro of Police Headquarters, Communications Department, from Constable Asamoah Brights. Okay, now we can do myjoyonline.com. Yeah. Okay, so whilst we get ready to bring myjoyonline.com, I think I have a last paper that I didn't touch on, which is the Finder newspaper. So here's what's on the front page. COVID-19, ICU cases doubling at an alarming rate, according to Dr. O. And then the bird flu affecting some 10,311 fowls, according to Dr. Abeka. You might want to read a lot more on this issue, but also stay with us because we're discussing this matter. Cabinet tackles terrorism, piracy, which are threatening Ghana, according to the information minister. Mid-year budget review for Riata to seek 6 billion Ghana cedis, over 500,000 jobs for the youth targeted. Banking sector cleanup, lessons for Ghana from convictions in Nigeria. And then President commissions 15,000-seater national mosque, what Akable was referring to, says it's a beautiful piece of arts, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I saw a write-up on Facebook. Somebody was comparing. So this was, this didn't have any national contribution. This was it the Turkish government that funded this project? It's sponsored by the Turkish government.
I mean, from what I understand, if there will be any form of contribution at all, it may have been the facilitation towards the land, but no, it was purely a Turkish government endeavor. The comparison has been made to the National Cathedral that is
exactly
under construction. But this has a lot of facilities. It has a senior high school, it has a state-of-the-art library, among other things that will be there. But I mean, the politics of it, people can always do those analyses, but I guess it comes back to the same point again. The Supreme Court says we can go ahead and build a cathedral, whether that should be what we need. I mean, it's all matters that we see out. We don't know how far they are going. When I pass around the place, you know, there's a bit of a fencing around where they are building.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I see some construction ongoing, but I don't know.
You want to know what's going on? You know, I've reported, I've reported on the progress. I think, when was that? I'm not sure. Was it this year called? I've been there twice.
Okay.
So I could go again because you're asking the questions, so that we can all see the progress.
Yeah, and I think you can get the cathedral officials too. They were supposed to be smart and raise a lot of money from the private sector, because we are told our governments are just giving some seed money and the land.
You know, COVID slowed down a lot of things, okay? Yeah. So, yeah, but we can find out. Let's do myjoyonline.com right now. Oh, I get offended when people rate me by my riches. Oh, that's some Jonah opening up. You want to watch the full documentary today, but I'll bring you excerpts ahead of the full one later this morning. Okay, plenty of other stories on myjoyonline.com. COVID-19 kills 4 more, sending total number of deaths to 810. ICU cases doubling at an alarming rate. Coordinator for severe and critical COVID-19 cases says, and anyone who knows the CJ will dismiss bribery allegation as fabrication. This was Kofi Bento back on Newsfile on Saturday. 2 jailed 11 years for selling Benenoir to undercover police officer. I shared the story earlier. 25 teenage girls get pregnant monthly. Hey! 25 monthly in Pongkatamaso. Hey! Joseph. 25 girls get pregnant monthly. By the time we're done with the year, how many girls? Oh, wow. Okay. We want to pause and reflect on this particular story and think about how we can all help correct this, because that's not right. We shouldn't even have one girl recording any pregnancy. Absolutely not. Okay. Do you want to say something? How do we fix it?
I mean,
where are the 25 boys who got the 25 girls pregnant?
I think it's and especially when it becomes a problem when it has the potential to affect their education and other things, health and all those things. I mean, it's worrying. It's worrying statistics, and they need to step up education in that particular area.
I'm looking for the 25 boys.
Sure, they are walking around.
Also, some grown men in the.
Yeah, going about the activities, and some have denied responsibility, others will take responsibility, others will run away, all sorts of things that will just change people's lives.
May God punish all the boys and girls who are getting innocent girls pregnant and disturbing their future. Stay with us.
Why the innocent before the girls? Just asking. Innocent.
Okay, I've deleted innocent.
Okay.
Girls.
Yeah.
Thank you for the correction. We've got sports coming up. Painfully, Muftau is coming to celebrate Accra Hearts of Oak because we are the champions.
For the first time in 22 years, Liberty Professionals have been relegated from the Ghana Premier League after drawing blank against King Faisal. They needed a win to avoid relegation, and when they drew 0-0 at the Sokakopet Stadium yesterday, that is the last round of the Ghana Premier League matches, they have been relegated from the competition since they qualified into it in 1997. And also, they've been joined by Ebusua Dwarfs. Despite beating Bechem United, they were also relegated from the competition after qualifying about 7 years ago. We'll also be talking about boxing, where Manley Spain continued to talk about his vision for the boxing community if he's given the mandate to lead the Ghana Boxing Authority. And Al Ali continued to dominate the African terrain after winning their 10th Champions League title. I am Muftau Nabila Ablai, and this is AM Sports on the AM Show. Let's start with Ghana Premier League stories, where Accra Hearts of Oak on Saturday were crowned champions of the Ghana Premier League. Despite losing their last game against Wafa, a sumptuous free kick from one of the star men of Wafa for this season, Augustin Boache, ensured that the party for Hearts of Oak was destroyed momentarily, but they still walked away with the Ghana Premier League title as they won it with a game to spare when they drew 1-1 against Liberty Professionals.
Hearts of Oak, Wafa wrapping up the Ghana Premier League. Wafa denied with a header from Kunedu Yadom. Robert Adu scoring full marks with that clearance. It was Wafa pushing Justice Tosuche, a mouthful for the Hearts of Oak defenders, as the Bontin's cross was well kept in by goalkeeper Mensah. Tosuche again denied by the woodwork. That was a very good strike from Tosuche, and Esubontin drawing rings all afternoon around the Hearts of Oak defense, sending this cross. Agbelvo's ball was feeble, saved by Mensah, and the goal mouth melee didn't result in a goal. Hearts of Oak dealt with it really well. Efriye Barnier got this one across the face of Paul, but Kunedu was at the right place at the right time. First half ending goalless. Back from recess, they showed desire, they showed great ambition, and they kept really posing a lot of threat for the Phobians. Lawrence said Jokum with this cross, but it went straight to goalkeeper Ben Mensah. Salifu Ibrahim, Fatal goes over it, and Saboche, then Robert Adusoa denied by a good save from Sabi Akwa. And the moment of pride and joy for Wafa arrived when Ate Yusufu stepped forward and converted brilliantly for the opener and the only goal of the game.
Yeah, brilliant finish, brilliant strike, brilliant effort. There was a goal that was going to win this game. It was going to come down to these fine margins here. It was a clean goal, really.
Handing Wafa a win over Hearts of Oak. But most importantly, is a crowning moment. All the investment Tugbe Afede has put into this side
in the league throughout.
But this generation of Hearts of Oak players and technical men will be extremely excited. There you go. The Phobians are champions of the Ghana Premier League. They have their Premier League title. Congratulations to the Phobians.
Yeah, congratulations to the Phobians. Finally, the wait is over. Finally, they have their hands on the title which they've deserved. Samuel Brady is the man with his army of Phobian players who never said die throughout the whole campaign. There were moments where many thought they were down. There were moments where many thought they were never going to reach the top. But here they are. They have reached it, and they are celebrating.
And draws.
And the party for the Phobians continue because they say that they are going to celebrate this unabated. They've gone 11 years without success, and after finally laying their hands on that trophy, it is time for them to celebrate and let everything sink. As House of Oak were celebrating at the very ground, despite losing to Wafa, Liberty Professional were crying after drawing 0-0 against King Faisal on the last day of the Ghana Premier League. They needed a win to secure quality. Them was Salah Sete, a former champion, under 20 World Cup champion, and he has been speaking about how difficult it has been for him and his technical team, also saying that this result has absolutely nothing to do with the boys, and he believes that when they revisit their books, they will find the areas they will need to strengthen so that they can come back to the Premier League soon.
Well, it's a game well balanced on both sides, well determined, both teams trying to refusing losing a game, so it raised the game to a level where both sides worked very hard, which couldn't go too well for goal scoring. But all the same, the level and standard of the game was very impressive, and I have to congratulate my opponent, King Faisal, then congratulate my team too. Though we were expecting to be winners of the game, but it didn't happen. But better still, football, yes, my Muslim brothers and friends will say, "Kum fire kum." What will happen will surely happen. What the good Lord has said that it will happen will surely happen. And that is what happened. Because we were very determined, creating opportunities for goal scoring, but we couldn't get through with it. And that simply explains that the game should be 0-0 for both.
Now let's take a look at the results for match day 34 in the Ghana Premier League. It started on Saturday where Great Olympics were 2-1 winners over Dreams FC. Ashanti Gold also spanked already relegated Interlash 7-0, and Wafa defeated Accra House of Oak 1-0. Despite this result, House of Oak were still jubilating because they have already won the Ghana Premier League. Asante Kotoko miraculously sat at home and lost to Elmina Sharks, whilst Liberty Professional also drew 0-0 against King Faisal. By virtue of this result, King Faisal maintained their status as a Premier League team, whilst Liberty Professionals have been relegated for the first time in 22 years. Mediama SC were also 1-0 winners over Brekum Chelsea, and Legon Cities came from 2 goals down to defeat 11 Wonders by 3-2, and Cape Coast Ebusua Dwarfs, despite beating Bechim United, have also been relegated. They won by 2-1, and the other game was Kaola United versus Ediana Stars, and Ediana Stars won that game by 2-1 on match day 34 in the Ghana Premier League. We also have an idea about how the table looks like after the Premier League season came to a close. Accra House of Oak, they completed the season with 61 points, followed by Asante Kotoko with 57 points. Then at the bottom half, you have Interallies rooted at the foot of that table on 26 points. Liberty Professionals also relegated. Unfortunately, they had 40 points, but they couldn't qualify. And then King Faisal also had, it was another Ebusua Dwarfs who had 41 points, but still, they couldn't maintain their status as a Premier League team. Now, let's hear from a board member of Accra House of Oak who has been speaking about the vision of the club after winning the Ghana Premier League. According to him, they were putting up a world-class football academy.
We are building, what do you call it, a new institution, an academy, beautiful academy. We are coming to 4 playing fields. Natural. When I say 4, 3 will be natural and 1 will be Astrotech. We are building a place where the boys will live. They will live there like you have in any boarding institutions. We are going to have a place also for those who like probably to hire and come and stay there when they come to play in Ghana. We shall have a huge tennis court, a huge swimming pool. I mean, all these things are in the pipeline, as I told you. Work is ongoing. It's not a question of work is on hold. And very soon, our secretariat that you know in Accra, we are going to bring it down and build a brand new 4-story glass house.
Wow.
Indeed. We want to finish all this before the end of the year. Because all the paperwork has been done already. We are going to have a special commercial house also within the vicinity of our secretariat. So you can see that there's a lot being done. And all I'll do is I would like to appeal to the supporters of the club to exercise patience. Yesterday at the stadium, they were the loudest more than anybody. They were the happiest. Yes, I have handled hearts of folk in crisis before, where when I look at the situation, I was compelled to put 21 regular players on transfer. That is, sack them. And started a new team, and it worked. We won the league. So certain things don't get me worried at all. So I will pray that in the coming season, we do better.
And that is a board member, Dr. Nyaho Chamaklo, talking about the vision of Hasselhoff after winning the Ghana Premier League. Now let's do something on boxing. And one man who is aspiring to lead the Ghana Boxing Authority is Manley Spain. He's been speaking about his vision for the authority, saying that if they give him the mandate, he will ensure that boxing is spread across the country.
The fact of the matter is, I have broader plans. One of them is having to emphasize on the regions, because it looks as if it's an area where we've ignored for some time. But everything comes, especially in boxing, comes with money, funding, and I think that is what had drawn us back a little. If the funding is there, we would have been able to do a lot in the regions also. I mean, touring the region, I realized the fact that as long as we do have some certain stream of funding, we would be able to produce good boxers in the regions, good weights, mostly the heavier weights. So that's one of my plans. The secretariat, getting the secretariat, done. I mean, we need a complete office like the GFA does have. We don't need. We've been in the small office for quite a long time. GPA is highly recognized institution, and for me, I feel that there's more that can be done. Having the secretariat. Why do we need a secretariat? I'm looking to tourism, sports tourism. Sports tourism brings in a lot. You realize the fact that those bodies outside every year does have conventions or each and every year, but they pick the areas to be doing these programs. They had never chosen Africa, but I think this time around, I had pursued them for quite a long time, all of them, all the bodies, and
I mean WBC, IBF, WBO, WBA.
All of them. I could have good relationship with all of them. And this time around, I've been assured that should everything goes well, they would definitely, next year, have at least the first convention here by one of the world bodies here.
Welcome to AM Talk. Today the subject is on something that ends up on our plates every day. So the country has destroyed, as we speak, some 4,500 chickens and restricted the movement of poultry after nearly 6,000 birds were found to have died of the highly pathogenic H5N1 avian flu. And the birds originated from 7 farms in the Greater Accra, Central and Volta regions. So as a result, poultry movements from those regions have been banned. We've also suspended poultry imports from Togo, Niger, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Mauritania, and Senegal as a precaution. My guest in the studio is Dr. Bashiru Boy Kikimoto. He's head of National Food and Safety Laboratory for Animal Health Veterinary Services Directorate. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. This is worrying because chicken is very popular. We eat chicken every day. You find it everywhere in the country. So how close is it to my plates?
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. On behalf of the Director of Veterinary Services, Dr. Patrick Abake, I'm here to enlighten the populace on the dangers of the highly pathogenic avian influenza outbreak we are currently battling with in the country. As you said, you yourself know that the poultry industry is one of the most important animal production systems that we have in the country. So when you have such a disease that comes in and wipes out a lot of birds, everybody is scared, not only because you reach your table, but also the economic impact and the public health and social and psychological effect that may have also on the farmers. So let me use this opportunity to empathize with everybody and try to use your medium to let people be aware that it can be as close as to your table as it is. But currently, looking at the measures that we have put in place in accordance with international regulations, the World Organization for Animal Health guidelines, we think that Ghanaians, for the meantime, should not panic. Things will be under control soon. We are putting a lot of epidemiological and laboratory investigative mechanisms in place, and we are fighting to make sure that the spread is limited to only those areas that it is currently happening.
Okay.
So you can be rest assured that it may not reach your table soon.
So how does it, I mean, how do you know this is an infected bird?
Yeah, you know, there are a lot of things you look for in a flock of birds. For example, if you observe some sudden deaths of birds and you look at some of the symptoms, like look at the head, you know, swelling head, you look at the wattles, you look at the comb, you see, they are all swollen and it becomes cyanotic, they're bluish in color, and they die instantly. In fact, when the highly pathogenic influenza affects a bird, it's momentarily. Even in front of you, they'll be dying in front of you. So you can know. Once it is the highly pathogenic one, if it is the low pathogenic one, you will see it's very classically, it may just come in the form of like a Newcastle one-off and this and that. But this one is mass death that occurs.
Okay, so they get sick and they suddenly die.
They die immediately. Yeah.
Is this something that was brought in?
You know, currently, don't forget that we are even lucky now that there's COVID. If not, if you look at the way the countries are in West Africa, the borders are porous. And this thing started happening in neighboring West African countries like Nigeria, and other countries which I mentioned already. So you see that this has already been confirmed long time. So we were taking measures to make sure that it doesn't enter. But still, you know, this is a virus. So unless we get the epidemiological, you know, gene construction to be able to see the real origin, currently we will not be able to say that it is because of this and this. But we are taking measures to make sure we get to the bottom of the source of the outbreak.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the 3 regions now.
Yeah.
What does it mean? What has happened? So in Greater Accra today, what are the restrictions?
Yeah, the restrictions are that the point where the outbreaks have happened, the Minister of Food and Agriculture through the veterinary services have put restrictions for the movement of birds and their products out, and then also make sure that all those farms which have been affected have been, you know, put under quarantine, so that killing, stamping out, and all those will take place, so that after that disinfection will take place. So movement out of the region with poultry and poultry products will not be allowed, except where a veterinary movement permit is accompanied, which is that the veterinary doctor has checked them and he has realized that not asked for this one, they're not from the affected area. But all the other areas that the disease is occurring there now, they will be under strict ban.
Is it live birds we're talking about?
Any bird, live bird, dress, eggs, anything.
So if I go to the Amasaman market this morning, or I go to Malata,
yeah,
would I be able to buy chicken?
For the markets, what is happening currently is that, you know, the birds they sell there, they are layers, old layers. So sometimes you may be surprised that some of the birds were taken before the outbreak. But I advise that it is even not advisable now. It's better we all just sacrifice for the meantime until the situation is under control, until we get the news from the Director of Veterinary Services that now they feel that it's safe to go to any market, to anywhere and buy, because you don't know the source. You know, Ghanaians sometimes, they sneak things in the night. You will not be sure. So to make sure that you are safe, just like how you and me, we are covering ourselves because we don't have corona. I mean, if corona has been there for almost 2 years and you're doing all this, covering your beautiful face like this for 2 years, why can't you just be hungry for 1 month? I get what I'm saying.
I get it.
So we should just sacrifice a little. It's better.
Okay. So don't go buying chicken.
It's no good. For the meantime, it's better we just avoid it.
So how about the frozen ones?
The frozen ones, unfortunately, some of them are not from Ghana. And that's why the veterinary services is very particular about importation. That is because now that there's an outbreak in Ghana, it's the World Organization for Animal Health, which is going to put this one in their headquarters in Paris and tell every country in the world that Ghana now has outbreak of avian influenza. So don't import chicken from Ghana. That's what they will tell the whole world. So that is why if you want to bring in even chicken to Ghana, you come to veterinary services first, so that we will tell you that you can only get permit from here because the OIE, that is controlling all animal diseases, has told us that you can't get chicken from Kazakhstan, you can't get it from Russia, you cannot get it from Poland. You see, that is why our importance is the importance of vet, even at the ports, is very important to prevent this kind of entry of diseases. So I think that when we do things like that, then the country will be safe, because all these diseases, some of them are even brought from outside, and you will not know. So that is why we are also very particular about certain aspects of measures that are to be taken to avoid diseases being brought into our country.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I see that we've particularly suspended product from Togo, Niger, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Mauritania, Senegal. Why is that?
That is the OIE regulation. It's just like the World Health Organization. There are rules, like COVID. They say if this thing happens, this is what you have to do. So we also have to follow the international guidelines. The OIE. These
are countries that have already recorded bird flu cases.
It's already recorded in the OIE record that there's outbreak of this, so nobody should import. So it's not only because we want to ban it, it's a law.
All right, so our name will be added to this list.
Our name will now be added to this one and spread throughout the whole world. So anywhere, every chief veterinary officer or the director of veterinary services all over the world, all the 182 countries, know that there's outbreak of this disease in these countries. So if it happens normally, even in Russia or Ukraine, they will tell us. So that is why we are particular about controlling the import of chicken inside the country. It should not be anybody's authorities. The status of veterinary to do that.
Okay.
These are because of these problems.
Okay, so you know this is a big bread and butter matter. So let's talk about it properly now for people to follow. Already we don't produce enough to feed ourselves. So what would this mean?
Yeah, we are lucky that the veterinary services have put measures through the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to make sure that this disease doesn't spread to other areas. We're even lucky it is not in the poultry hub of Ghana, that is Doma Hinkro, where you have about 430 poultry farmers. And their farms are just so close to each other, 50 meters, 100 meters. So if there's an outbreak in one, the whole place will be affected. That will affect us seriously. And the Ashanti region has a very high number of birds. We are lucky these regions are still under protection of the veterinary services, not to cross that area. But we are also lucky that it happens in maybe very low poultry producing areas.
Yes, because the Volta region, the Central region.
Greater Accra. And one of the things that Mama V, I wanted to inform you is that the first outbreak of the avian influenza in Ghana on the 28th of April 2007, This thing actually brought the poultry industry in Greater Accra down. Greater Accra was actually leading in most of the poultry industry. You could go to one farm, you get about 47,000 birds. General Sam's farm, you could get more than 50,000 birds. 77,000, all are gone because of the avian influenza. So we don't want this one to move into areas like Ashanti region, Brown Hafo region, especially Doma and Kru. We are dead. We are dead.
So how alert are the farmers in these other areas you talk about?
Yeah, you know, this problem has been with us since 2007, as I mentioned, and this may be the fourth or fifth outbreak. So the farmers are already aware of some of these things, but we also need to use your medium, like what this opportunity you are giving to veterinary services here, to let them be aware that if they have not yet reached your farm, be very, very careful. Don't allow people to come into your farm by heart. Make sure you improve your biosecurity measures. Make sure you restrict the movement of cars and products of anything into your DC. People that used to come to your farm to buy chicken and eggs, let them stand outside the gate. That's why we always advocate that have the sale point outside the farm itself. Don't let it be inside. So all these are measures that they have to start improving if they have not started them. But I know that with Doma and Crew, there are a lot of measures which have been taken because of all these problems that we saw in link with the antimicrobial use, antibiotic use and antimicrobial use over there to check the behavior, knowledge and aptitude practices of the farmers. And things have improved a little since 2018. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the Central region and the Volta region, what are the measures?
The measures are that the guidelines that the Director of Veterinary Services has announced, they have to follow them. You make sure that you don't move chicken, make sure that you don't sell to anybody, make sure people don't come to your farm, make sure you don't move to another region with the products, because that will create the spread of the disease.
Is it farmers in all these three regions, or there are particular farms?
The thing is that the outbreak is not in the whole region, because if you look at the farms that they have mentioned, I think there are 5 in Greater Accra, I think there's 1 in Volta, there's this thing. But the thing is that because we don't want to give the opportunity to people, you know what people can do. You see, anything you are doing, you have to take the human factor into consideration. So we don't want to leave chances. So we want to make sure that the whole of Volta region is on the alert, and those particular farms are cordoned off from entry and out of people.
Are you ensuring that these farms don't sell? I mean, are you policing them?
No, normally when it happens like that, it's not like we have to police you. We are there already with you. We make sure the place is closed down. We make sure we do the necessary things, the killing, the stamping out, the disinfection, and everything. Make sure we burn all the feed and everything that is remaining there so that it doesn't go away to any other farm. That's the way we always do it, to make sure it is only at that spot.
This is expensive.
Yeah, you know, Ghana, we import about 400,000 tons of meat, chicken every year, but our own producers produce just about 56,000 tons. So you see the gap that we have. So we allow these diseases also to perpetuate themselves here. We are doomed forever. And the poultry industry, I will tell you, is one of the best surviving animal production systems currently we have in Ghana. The livestock industry is totally non-existent. And also, so the poultry industry, we have to safeguard it. And because if you even look, all the workshops, all the conferences, everything that we do in this country now, it's more about poultry. Either when you go to workshop, it is rice and chicken, it is eggs or something, they watch everything. So we have to make sure we safeguard this thing. Yes, so...
Let's talk about eggs.
Yeah.
Is it safe to consume eggs?
It is not safe at all, so far as it is from the infected farm. It's not safe, because everything is trans-ovarian.
So how do I know if it's from the infected farm or not?
That is why you are sure that from now onwards, nothing is going to move to any market for you to buy, because all that will be destroyed on the farm. So when we are destroying, we make sure we destroy the live birds, we destroy the feed, we destroy the bags, we destroy everything on the farm. The eggs, everything.
What do you give some sort of compensation to the farmers affected?
Oh, as for that one, currently it is not my duty or something to talk about those things.
So this will probably be the Ministry of Agriculture.
Beyond my level. You and me, we are talking about our table.
Okay, so let's stay with it.
Table,
Great, let's stay with it.
Yes,
I guess I was just being concerned about the farmers especially when you talk about the numbers involved. I'm just thinking. Okay, so eggs for now, I am in the Greater Accra region. I don't know of a farm close to me that is affected or not. But you see, the thing is, I don't know where the eggs and the chicken even come from. So what's the best advice that you give to me?
The best advice that I'll give is that, you know, before you can be infected by this disease, there are many ways you can get, either through aerosol or maybe through the feces of the affected bird. You touch it with your bare hands and maybe you wipe your face like the corona. Or maybe you cook some chicken, it's not well cooked. Or you boil some egg, it's not well boiled. And if you boil an egg for about 15 minutes at 70 degrees, you know that the virus is dead. If you also boil the chicken, that. But the problem about avian influenza is that sometimes you don't get it when the thing is cooked. It is in the process of preparing. Just like Ebola. You see, if a monkey has Ebola and you are preparing the monkey, it is not after eating the monkey meat that you get the Ebola. It is during the preparation. So the same thing about avian influenza. If you touch the feathers and you wipe your eyes, if you see a dead bird and you go and touch it with your bare hands, you are risking your life. So cook your chicken very well, cook your eggs very well, and then you are safe.
How about the fried eggs?
If you fry, it's even better.
Okay. All right. This one was just for
when you fry, it's a protein, so it denatures at 50 degrees.
Okay.
Denatures.
You know, when I first heard about the outbreak, I was thinking the coronavirus, is it going to worsen it or what? I mean, because these are two, how related are they?
You know, they're all viruses, and their mode of transmission are almost the same thing. It's aerosol through contact of your eyes, your nose, like how we are covering face masks and that kind of. It's the same thing. These viruses, that's the way they behave. So it is good, even that this corona came first. It has enhanced our IPC, that's infection prevention control measures, hand sanitizing, wash of the hands, biosecurity, biosafety of the people. So all this actually help us a lot. So we hope that this will continue for a long time and will prevent us from getting this avian influenza. Because one bad thing about this avian influenza is that once it undergoes genetic mutation, then it's a different new thing comes. And that's why we always tell people that let's try and help the veterinarians to control the animal diseases. Because once it enters the human being, it mutates. In fact, we don't know what we are going to get. For example, like the corona. Like there are some even worse one like hantavirus. It hasn't even come yet. It's worse. So we have to help to prevent the animal diseases from jumping into the human population.
Okay, so let's confirm.
Yeah.
Has it jumped? Have we recorded any cases in human beings in Ghana?
As for now, not yet, because we have a One Health platform. Minister of Health, Veterinary Services, we have a One Health platform. So normally, this kind of thing, we work hand in hand with the Minister of Health so that we also know. So whenever we are going to a place to destroy the birds, we have to take a medical doctor of the district there, plus his staff, a member of the environmental health who are going to help in the sanitation and other things over there. So we work hand in hand. So if there's anything, we'll get to know, and I would have been in the best position to let you know that.
Okay. I just feel like given the opportunity, if you're a poultry farmer and you're watching us, and you need some sort of assistance or you want some clarity, maybe you can give us a call if you're okay with that. Maybe we can just leave about 5 minutes for that.
Yes.
This is typically for a poultry farmer wherever in the country, and you're watching. This, as we know, has affected 3 regions. It hasn't gone beyond the Greater Accra, the Volta, and the Central. But you want to take the necessary precautions so that you're not affected. Kindly give us a call on 0302-211-6912, 0302-211-6912. Just 5 minutes for this. I have the head of National Food Safety Laboratory for Animal Health Veterinary Services Directorate in the studio, Dr. Bashiru Boy Kikimoto, helping us understand this very latest outbreak of influenza that we've recorded in the country. It has led to us also suspending, this product into other countries, as it were. It's not even our choice because of where we are. Because of the situation that has happened to us, obviously other countries would avoid buying from us. How much have we been importing, by the way? Is it something that's in the records of
As I was mentioning earlier on, Ghana, for example, spends so much money every year to import over 400,000 tons of chicken, but the locally produced is about 57,000 tons. So there's a deficit, high deficit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was asking about how much we also send out, but let's speak to Alfred. Alfred is in Ashaman. Hello, Alfred. Good morning.
Good morning to you and noble Dr. Bashir. I want to contribute to what you have been talking about a bit.
Yeah, great.
It's very good you have given the veterinary service department this opportunity to come and educate the public as to what is happening. My junior brother is a veterinarian or a veterinary technical officer who has completed the college and has not been employed. I want to use this opportunity. Probably Dr. Bashiru will testify to what I'm saying. It's very good. I believe there are no enough service personnel or veterinary personnel in the front to tackle this virus. So I want to plead with him to take this as an opportunity. It's very worrying, and if whoever knows about bird flu would testify to that. It's not an easy thing. So I want to plead with Dr. Bashiru to take this on. It's very important to help employ.
Okay, Alfred, thank you very much. I guess the point is well made. So you need more hands?
Sorry?
Do you need more hands?
Oh, you know, Alfred has actually hit the nail on the head. We don't have veterinary doctors. Could you imagine the whole of Volta and OT is one doctor?
Huh?
One. If you go to Western, Northwestern, one. If you go to Upper East, one. So the doctors are not there at all.
Why is that?
It's to be sorted out. So that one maybe is beyond.
So whose services do you use then?
Oh, you know, we have the doctor and we have the technician, as he was talking about. So the technicians are a little bit, more than us. But you know, we always need a doctor to guide in every aspect that we do.
Maybe we have the private doctors.
No, the private doctors, they still have to work under the government. You see, the way veterinary is practiced, the private people work, but they still have to report to the state veterinarian to know exactly, because we are going to report all these diseases and numbers to the World Organization for Animal Health.
Okay, understood. Let's go back to the phone lines. Michael is in Boom. Hello, Michael.
Yeah. Mama Lee, how are you?
Yes, sir. Very well, thank you. Thanks for reaching out.
Okay, my concern is that if I got it right, 4,500 beds were destroyed. The question is, there's a package from government or the ministry to these farmers, because if there's no package, these farmers will be compelled to put the affected bed on the market. That is my concern.
All right, that's something that we haven't verified yet, but that is something that not for the Veterinary Services Directorate to respond to. So we're going to carry that concern forward. In the meantime, Joel is in Brekum. Good morning, Joel.
Hello, this is Joe Brekum.
Okay, all right, Joe. Thanks for calling. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I would like to know whether our domestic fowls they are also at risk of the flu, and what are the signs that we have to look for in case they can also be affected?
Great question. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Yes, Doc.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joel. I think that you all know that the avian influenza affects all types of birds, from turkey, ducks, quails, guinea fowl, local chicken, and the commercial chicken. But the difference is the manifestation of the disease. For example, like the water bugs and all those things that are living around the lagoons, those where you see them, they have the virus shedding it, but they don't fall sick. If you get the local bird, they can get sick, but not as the commercial bird. So they will be dull, off feet, and maybe they will not die en masse like the way you see, because they don't rear them in mass like that. So it's one of the ways you see that it will be off feet, it will be dull, it can die. You can send it for autopsy. Then the autopsy and the laboratory investigation will tell you that this avian influenza you are dealing with, and whether it is highly pathogenic or low pathogenic, you will also be told the necessary measures. But the most important thing, everything, you can get some virucidal, drugs for them, maybe in water, in case you suspect that. But it's always better you confirm first from the vet. If you have, formerly when it happened, we used to advise, if you have a local chicken, and you have some little Vercon or some Omnicide or something to put for them to drink, it will be fine. But this time we want to discourage, I want to make sure that the disease is not shared round. So it's the earlier we do it, the better. we destroy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Joe also asked the signs, particularly if you live in the same house with the birds.
Yeah. You'll be dull, you'll be off feet, because I have no picture here to show you, and it's always as if feeling cold.
Okay.
That kind of thing. So when you see that kind of signs, because you know the way your bed is. Today it has changed all of a sudden. I mean, someone should tell you that. Do
you isolate the particular bed or beds?
No, if anytime you observe that kind of thing, you quickly isolate it from there and then get in touch with the vet. Because when the vet comes in, then your situation is solved. Don't try to do self-medication and other things. Just make sure you quickly call the nearest veterinarian. Oh, my bed today, I've seen that this sign is what is there. I don't know what it is. It was dull. It was moving around yesterday. Today I got up. It's very dull. These have some of these viral diseases. Okay. So that's the way you have to behave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's speak to Peter. Peter, you're calling from somewhere in Amanfro, correct? Okay, great. You're on air. Let's hear you.
Please, I want to ask doctor if he can help me. You see, in terms of maybe this outbreak, people used to complain a lot about the frozen fish, the frozen chicken, about maybe cold stores and those things, which mostly disturb our market and those things. So I want doctor to brief us on those things, whether the youth should maybe help us in buying, or maybe if they should limit the way they buy it, so the way they limit in buying those things. So I want doctor to brief me on those things.
Okay. All right, Peter. Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you, too.
Is it frozen chicken?
Yes.
The one imported or the country one?
Imported.
Okay, the imported one, that is why I was telling you earlier on that the veterinary is very, very important at the harbor. That is because that is the entrance of diseases. And if we are not there, it affects the market, because something can be brought in. And we also, you know, the National Food Safety Laboratory is part of our work to go to the harbor, take the samples, come and check for all these diseases, and also check for antimicrobial antibiotics that have been used outside. You know, some of them use growth promoters. So this is the essence of the National Food Safety Laboratory for the animal sector under the Ministry of Food and Agriculture and Fisheries, to make sure that we check all these things in our country.
Okay, so I guess you're saying once we find it on the market, then it means it's gone through the necessary checks. All right, Solomon is in Shire Hills. Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you for the discussion being held on bird flu. Of late, I've discovered that some birds around my vicinity are dying just like that. So I just want to ask Doc whether it is the disease that is killing them. And if that is the disease, how do we dispose of them?
Okay, so Solomon, first of all, are they in a house or where? When you say
no, they are not in a house. They are the free one.
Please come again.
I said they are the domestic one.
Okay, and so if you said they are they're dying, how many of them have you noted?
I'll be able to count about 3.
In a what time frame?
In the vicinity where my wife is having a church. So.
Okay. Okay. All right. So where exactly in Shire Hills?
Doimo, to be precise.
Doimo. Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks, Solomon. We'll see if doctor can help with where or a number to call to get some support. Bernard is in Kumasi. Good morning, Bernard.
How are you?
Yes, Bernard. You're good?
I'm good. And what are you?
Okay, great. I'm very well, thank you. Go ahead, please.
I have to educate a little what the doctor said. You see, we are doing our best to protect the local market vis-a-vis competing with the international market. And they have operated for long, they are break-even, and they are bringing us those kind of products here. Now, doctor is saying that we should rather be focused on those imported ones, the frozen ones, to be more healthier and safer than the ones that we are doing here. I think that is rather unfortunate.
Okay, Ben, sorry. Sorry, I think you've distorted the facts there, so don't continue, but hold on. Doc, please explain exactly what you said before Bernard, you continue.
Is Bernard there?
Yes.
Yeah, Bernard, thanks a lot, but I think maybe you missed some part of what I said. Somebody is worried about the one coming in. And whether you and me, we like or not, there's a deficit. Somebody will bring in by all means. But I'm saying that if that person brings in, we still have to go and test it to be sure that it is safe for our people. It's not that we are encouraging it. No, it is. No, how can I encourage?
Okay.
Yeah, it
so that's clear. Bernard, please go ahead.
Yeah.
My education has to do with. He's talking about the fact that we have insufficient doctors in the field. Myself, I'm a poultry farmer. I tell you the kind of hassles I go through. This is a time for the veterinary department to promote what we call agriculture insurance. Now we are talking about those people that the kind of money we invest in this venture. This is the reason why many people not even give us proper information now. Because if my farm is infested and I come and voice it out, and my bets are going to be destroyed without paying me any compensation, then the person will be eligible.
Okay. Again, Bernard, please hold on there. We don't know that. We don't know that for a fact, whether or not farmers who have been affected have been paid or not. That's something that we're yet to cross-check. So, you know, I just don't want you to conclude on that because we don't know and we haven't said it on the show. Okay, Bernard. All right, Bernard in Kumasi, thank you very much. Reynolds is in Tema. Good morning, Reynolds.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Let me take this opportunity to speak to the veterinary doctor since it is about veterinary and animals. Mine is about the pigs. In our area at 25, around the high tension, we have this swine flu. In 8 farms, I started just last year, and then as at now, I have the animal. They've all died from this. I don't know whether it has come to the notice of to the what do you call them? Veterinary.
Yeah, what's the name again?
Reynolds.
Reynolds. Thank you very much. I will use this opportunity, Mama V, to let Ghanaians understand the difference.
Okay.
Swine flu is the H1N1 that affects human beings. African swine fever is the one that kills the pigs. But because we know pig is swine and it is flu, people call swine flu. But the swine flu is the one that affects the human being, H1N1. You know, the one we are dealing now is H5N1. The human one is the H1N1. But this H5N1 can affect human beings too. But we have the African swine fever. And African swine fever actually kills a lot. Let me tell you, Greater Accra was leading in piggery in Ghana before 1999. When 1999, the African swine fever struck here in Greater Accra, up to 2000, we killed all the pigs. And that's why now Accra doesn't have pigs again, apart from some few areas. It's a very dangerous disease. And I think that maybe it has come to the attention of the epidemiology unit. They will make sure they investigate and get the thing to a final conclusion. Because now things have moved to central region, as in Fosu, Elembele area, where the piggery is there, and the Ashanti region. These are the only areas now you get a lot of pigs. But 2014, the African swine fever also went to Elembele to kill about 607 pigs. So it is a dangerous disease also. We are not, that is why we are saying that the veterinary aspect needs to be enhanced to make sure that these diseases, people don't actually, because this is what is making people survive.
Okay. All right. Sarkodie is in Akosombo, our last call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mama V.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please, I want to ask Dog this question, just a very simple question. What is happening is that the breakthrough, how does it begin? Because we are closer to water region, just around the corner here. And the eggs that they are bringing from that area to Akosombo, also, I don't understand, because is it affected to the eggs too? That we, the consumers, if we are buying eggs, is it affecting? If we took the eggs, or the cold stores around us, what should we do? And we learned that the influenza just sometimes when it happens like that, they don't, they kill them and they bury them. And I'm not sure that if the breakthrough, when it's happening to a farm, and when they die, they bury them. They don't bury them. They just send them to the bush and then sell it to the market women.
to just roast them and be put in the market.
Okay, so that's a suspicion. That's a suspicion, right? It's not like you've seen. Are you reporting that you've seen someone do that?
No, that's a suspicion because I'm seeing that. Looking at the way they are saying that if something happens to the birds, they kill them and they bury them.
Okay. All right.
So, Madam, please, I want Doc to help me with that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sarkodie in Akosombo.
No, but what he's saying, that's why I was telling you about the human factor. But the thing is that, so far as we are aware as veterinarians, that thing doesn't exist because we make sure, I have personally participated in it before, and there's no way somebody can do that.
Okay, so
we close the farm immediately, make sure we prevent anybody from coming in, make sure nothing goes out. It's finished.
Let's talk about it the Ghanaian way.
Yeah, the Ghanaian way.
When it happens on the farm, you are not there.
Yeah.
They have to call you.
Yes.
Okay. I guess what Sarkodie is saying, that there may be some people who want to play smart. So the birds are dying. Let me quickly make it look nice and let me ship it off onto the market. Okay. So if it's gotten onto the market like that, how can we tell, Sarkodie, myself, everybody else, tell, and this is not important, this is one within the country. How can we tell that this is an infected chicken or not?
Okay, that is why now everything now depends on you as an individual, on the way you handle the bird, the way you cook it, the way you eat it. If everything is done properly, you will not have any issue.
Okay. And then he also talked about the eggs coming from the Volta region. Should they be worried?
Currently, there will not be movement there will not be any movement of product of animal or animal itself, chicken, without veterinary certificate accompanying it from anywhere. It's not possible now. Yeah. Okay. So it means it will be safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, is there anything that we've missed that you want to, just before we wrap up? I was asking, especially because of the call from Shy Hills, knowing that I don't know if I've spotted any veterinary office in Kokomlemle here. I haven't seen any. But my question is, if you've observed what he observed in Shy Hills and you want to call the attention of someone, how?
I think that there's a number of our director which is on the release by the Director of Veterinary, Dr. Patrick Abake, is 024-222-7107. I repeat the number again, Dr. Patrick Abake, Director of Veterinary Services. Telephone number 024-222-7107. You call him, whatever he wants me or any other person to do, he will direct us to do.
Okay.
Because he's the only one in veterinary who has an address. I don't have address.
Okay. All right. Well, Doc, thank you so much for your time. I think you were going to, before I asked the question, you were going to say something in wrapping up.
Yes, I was trying to say that Ghanaians should feel safe. They should not be panicked. There should be any fears. So far as that any disease outbreak comes to the attention of the veterinary services, despite our numbers and our thing, with the scientific knowledge that we have, we always know what measure to put in place to make sure that our people don't suffer. Because we all know that all these animal diseases are the same thing that are in the human. And if we let it enter the human population, it will be a disaster for all of us. So we are also doing our best to make sure that Ghana is safe and safe for all of us. Thank you very much.
When you crack an egg, can you tell?
Oh, when you, no, even if it is not affected by avian influenza, and anytime you crack any egg, also look at the egg. Sometimes you can even crack an egg and see some blood is inside. Sometimes, so all these things are things that you look at. So I don't think you crack an egg, you see some spot of blood, and you want to fry that egg. So it is not under this thing, but it's also if you fry the egg very well, you cook it very well, you are safe that you can eat it. Once you boil up to 70 degrees centigrade, the virus will die.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Doc, thank you so much for your time here on the show and talking to about this outbreak. Just a few things for us to clarify. There are concerns, and I even raised it in terms of whether or not there's some sort of compensation paid to these farmers affected. That's something that we will find out and share with all of you. I see that that's also your concern as well. The other thing that came up also is the lack of personnel, particularly vet doctors. We're going to raise this issue as well and expand the conversation further. But thank you very much, particularly if you called and if you're a farmer in any part of the country, well, be aware that there is an outbreak of a flu. It's a deadly one, so please take the necessary precautions so it doesn't get to your farm. We've got More conversations to come here on the AM show. Please do stay with us. I have a special birthday dedication. Mr. William Orleans Oduro, Vice President of the Ghana Bar Association and late President of the Methodist Church of Ghana. It's your 60th birthday today, sir. And from the family and myself, we're wishing you a happy, 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 happy birthday, sir. Enjoy the day. May the Lord continue to bless you and keep you. Mr. William Orleans Oduro, Vice President of the Ghana Bar Association and late President of the Methodist Church of Ghana. Happy 60th birthday to you, sir. All right, it's a wrap from me. Thank you so much for your company here on the AM show. Thank you for sharing and sticking around. We will see you tomorrow, God willing, 6 a.m. We have updates on all the running stories coming up at 10 on News Desk. Bye for now.